right, now let's get to our morning business report. Frontier Airlines will soon begin offering first-class seats.
That's a change, and fingers crossed, we're finally at the end of the E. coli outbreak linked to McDonald's Quarter Pounders. Channel 3's Jane King is live at the NASDAQ with those stories and more. Good morning, Jane.
Hi, Caitlin and Tracy. Good morning. Yeah, the CDC says the deadly E. coli outbreak linked to the slivered onions at McDonald's is over. 104 people in 14 states were infected in the outbreak, but there's been no reported illnesses since October 21st. Now, while the outbreak is formally over, McDonald's is still dealing with the sales fallout. Foot traffic to its restaurants was down almost 7% on November 18th compared to a year ago, according to the firm Gordon Haskett. Well, Frontier Airlines, known for bare bones cheap flights, is now adding premium seating. First-class seats will begin at Frontier in September. The carrier will also revamp its loyalty program. Spirit and Southwest recently added premium seats to attract higher-paying customers. Well, 1 in 4 people are grappling with compulsive overspending during the holiday season. Beyond Finance, a debt consolidation company, and Talker Research found more than half said they feel pressure to spend money during the holidays. And the most common source of pressure: family, friends, social media, and pop culture. And according to these results, the most common money wounds are low self-esteem due to financial circumstances and overspending. Well, the stock rally took a pause. Investors starting to position for the monthly jobs report, which is Friday, and then we have a Federal Reserve meeting mid-month. This morning, markets are looking strong. Dow's pointing up 200. Live from the NASDAQ market side, I'm Jane King. Back to you.